it's Madison and happy fall. I know a lot of people are going back to school around America at least. At my new job, we just started last week on Wednesday. So we are kind of getting in the swing of the semester. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to take a week and kind of give you guys a look of what my life is looking like right now with my new job and how learning languages is trying to squeeze into the cracks of my free time. I'm not really much of a vlogger for a variety of reasons. Number one, I just forget to sit down every day and like talk about my life. And then second of all, my life isn't that interesting to look at, honestly. It's just mostly me sitting at a computer typing, which is not very fun to watch. So yeah, I decided instead just to get little snippets of my life throughout the week and then to sit down kind of at one time right here and kind of just give a little review of my thoughts and what went down in the past week. Before I jump into that, I wanted to go ahead and take a second just to describe my new job. I'm actually working as an instructor at a university teaching freshman level composition. So basically how to write essays and different styles of writing, stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching 4 classes. Officially, I'm a part-time instructor, but I'm teaching basically full-time hours. But yeah, that's what I'm doing there. And then I also am still continuing my old jobs. I also teach kind of like introductory Korean on a platform called OutSchool. And then I also occasionally open up some slots and teach some ESL classes for a company in China. Although, yeah, I won't get into the details, but China is making some new regulations. So that job is kind of tentative right now, but it's very, very, very part-time for me anyways. So not stressing out too much about that right now. But yeah, as far as last week specifically, like I said, it was the second week of school. So Monday I went ahead and went in, taught from 10 to 3. So far I've been trying to kind of just find a like picnic table or kind of a quiet spot to work on things during my hour breaks, or if I have any extra time between classes, if a class finishes a little bit early. And I found it's just nice to find a really nice quiet corner of campus where I can really focus and work on stuff. Okay, not always super quiet, but I do like just kind of making a little camp for an hour and getting some work done. I was really hoping on kind of finding some time to squeeze in language learning throughout the week, but this week was very busy because I was still doing a lot of onboarding stuff. Since it's a new job for me, I had lots of paperwork, lots of training I had to go through. So that evening I mostly spent just working on planning some classes, getting a lot of the online training modules done. Super fun stuff, as you can imagine, but it took quite a bit of time to do some paperwork and then go through all that training. Tuesday, again, had more training, more fun stuff. This time it was legal training, as you can imagine, very, very fun. And then after that, decided to get out of my office, which is the room that I spend a lot of my time in. Went to our apartment's clubhouse with my brother. We worked on some stuff. He's in college right now as well, so he studied. I worked on grading some of my class stuff, again for the university. Took a little break to play ping pong here and there, which is always super fun. But then right back, of course, to working on stuff for the majority of that afternoon. And then that evening, I decided to teach a little bit of the ESL classes, so I opened up some slots and taught that. Wednesday, once again, back to the university to teach 10 to 3. In the breaks, I worked on my OutSchool classes, making some practice, stuff like that. And then after I taught with the university, came home and taught for that OutSchool class at 5 o'clock, just a quick half-an-hour class. Thursday, once again, didn't have to go into work because didn't have any university classes that day. Again, didn't really have the chance to do any Korean studying per se because throughout the day I was working on making some handouts that we are going to use in my university class in the upcoming days. In the evening, though, I did have a chance to use some Korean because one of my Korean friends came to town. She recently moved out of town. And so we met at one of our friends' house, grilled some samgyeopsal, which is always wonderfully delicious. Thankfully, those are friends that I have established the habit of speaking in Korean to. So I was there from I think like 5 to 10 o'clock at night, hanging out with those friends and speaking exclusively in Korean for 5 hours. Obviously not just me speaking for 5 hours straight, but you know, having conversation with friends and listening to Korean for 5 hours straight. And I totally forgot to get any footage of the delicious food that we had. Since I totally forgot to film, I'll just insert some random pictures of food grilling here. Friday, once again, taught 10 to 3 at the university. came back to my office, worked on a few administrative things. I have a couple student athletes in my classes, so they usually give me a little handout that shows all the days they predict they're going to be absent because of their athletic events. So I went through and marked those on my attendance calendar since attendance is mandatory for my class. Fun stuff like that. And then after that, I drove the 2-hour drive to my parents' house because the next morning we were planning on playing tennis. During that drive, I did also manage to squeeze in some language stuff. I found a new good podcast that I like on crime that's in Korean, and they speak really quickly as they describe these past criminal events. So what I usually do, it's a 2-hour drive, so I end up listening to two 45-ish minute podcasts, and that's kind of all my brain can take of high-speed criminal analysis before my brain starts going to mush. And so then the last half hour I kind of just chill with music. And then the next day, Saturday, like I said, played some tennis in the morning, drove back here, once again listened to 2 true crime podcasts in Korean. And then Sunday I finally had a free day, was pretty caught up on the coming week of classes. So I had some time to sit down and work on languages. And what I decided to do is, because I've been listening to these podcasts, I found that as I'm listening to it, there are, I don't understand everything that's happening. I get the gist, but there are definitely lots of words that kind of fly right through my head and I don't know what's happening. And there's no transcripts for these episodes, it's just the audio. So what I decided to do was sit down and most of these episodes are them 2 people having a conversation about what happened, but they kind of do it in 3 chunks, and each chunk is a 3-minute dramatic narration of the events that happened that they then discuss in a conversation. So I decided to take the 9-ish minutes of narration from one episode and try to do a dictation exercise. So me listen to the audio and try to write down everything, go back, pause it, try to get all the words, stuff like that. And that took forever. So it was a really good exercise. It was a really brain draining exercise. I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. I did it in a couple chunks because, like I said, there's some 3-minute chunks. So I did the first 2. That took probably 2.5, 3 hours. And then I did the last one later because I was tired. And again, that took probably over an hour. So I spent probably almost 4 hours just writing down 9 minutes of audio. But like I said, it was pretty fast paced, and I typed it and it ended up being, so 12-point font, it was 5 full pages of typed stuff. And so it was a lot of work, very slow, meticulous process, but it was actually really good, and I picked up a lot of new vocabulary. If there were sentences that I wasn't sure what was happening, I tried to use my phone, the Google Translate audio function. It kind of sort of worked. It definitely helped me a few times figure out words that I wasn't sure of, but other times I think it's even too fast paced for Google Translate to keep up with. So it didn't always work. But yeah, it was a really fun exercise. I'm gonna probably keep trying to do it occasionally. Obviously, I can't do this 4-hour exercise all the time, but I might do it for little slivers for some of the podcasts that I find really interesting that I want to go back and kind of get some vocabulary from. So yeah, that was my second week of classes in my new university job, as well as my other online teaching jobs, and trying to squeeze language learning in along the way. I'm hoping that now that the bulk of the kind of getting set up, getting into the group of classes is over with, I'll have a little more time throughout the weeks going forward to actually work on my own hobbies and get more language learning stuff done. But we'll see how it goes. And yeah, that's all I have to say for today. So until next time, 안녕.